My name is Lucid. At least that's what I go by when I'm on set. Um, my other nickname is Atlas. That's typically what I go by. Um, 25 years old, kind of from anywhere and everywhere you could think of. I've spent a little bit of time here and there. So,
Awesome. Thanks for doing this, man. I
of
got
course.
a chance to work with you over the Halloween season at the Nightmare Factory. He's a fellow actor and amazing at it. Got rave reviews. People were bragging about him, so he's definitely worth looking into if you're looking for an actor. I plan on putting him to work. So, speaking of actually acting, what got you into that?
Honestly, I put in, how do I put this? I put the application into Justin James. Didn't really think anything of it. About a month, 2 months later, they reached out to me finally, and I was actually on the phone with my friend at the time, and I was like, "Hold on," I was like, "I need to take this call," and that's really how I got into it. I didn't think anything was gonna really come out of it. I just was like, you know what, let's see what happens. I was already doing stuff with music, and um, I wanted to take another chance, maybe a different approach to things, and well, it paid off. It looks like.
Nice. So, do you think it's going to be something that you want to pursue as an actual career or try
Yeah,
and do more of, rather?
yes, definitely. I can't talk too much about the current project that I'm working on, due to some documentation. But
We're
hello,
doing an interview. I'm learning about his life.
how are you guys doing? I'm doing all
Good.
right.
You can watch if you want.
um, but I'm already working on an ongoing project with Alex Beatty, which is Black Dragon Entertainment Company, I believe is what it is. Um, I know it's Black Dragon Entertainment, if I recall. Um, but I got that going on right now. Actually, we'll be filming as of Friday. Will be my first day actually getting recorded. Period. Actually, for an acting role.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
Beyond Nightmare Factory. So this will be a brand new, um, a whole ordeal for me. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've got, projects going on with Casper himself, actually. He's got a couple worked out for me for the acting stuff. Um, and we're going to be working on a couple albums together in the music side of things too, as well. So got the ball rolling in a couple different fields.
And I'm super excited about it. I can't wait for you guys to start hearing some of that stuff. The demos, oh, such a good sound.
It'll be fun.
So, where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Okinawa, Japan.
Okinawa. Wow. So, we've spoken in the past that you're half Japanese.
Correct. My mom's side is Japanese, and my dad's side is American, technically speaking. But yes,
Nice. And then, how you were born in Okinawa. Where'd
correct.
you grow up?
I grew. Oh, geez,
Or
that's
rather, like, did you grow up in Okinawa?
more or less. It was a lot of. My dad was military, part of the Marine Corps, so we did a lot of bouncing around between Okinawa, Japan, where I have some family at, and then just different parts of the U.S. So I've probably spent half my life in Japan, plus or minus a couple years, and same thing for the U.S. side. It's kind of like 50-50 ish. So
So, out of all the places that you've lived, where's been your what place has been your favorite?
now that is a hard question to answer. I don't really. Whoa. Let's see. Got Arizona, Illinois. Oh geez. Thank you. Probably Washington State would probably have to be one of my favorites.
Nice. Where in Washington did you live?
Vancouver.
Oh, wow, cool. Wow, so many different places. Like, how many different jobs have you had? Or rather, what's been your favorite job that you've had?
Honestly, what I'm doing right now with the Nightmare Factory
Acting?
and Silent Edge Entertainment. So,
Hell yeah. Oh, definitely giving them a shout out. And if you guys want to look down into the comments, I'm going to have tags in there for Alec Beatty, Silent Edge Entertainment, The Nightmare Factory. Definitely check these guys out. They are part of the wheels that keep us moving out here on the East Coast when it comes to filmmaking, giving actors a break. They're awesome people.
oh yeah, they definitely took a chance, and well, it paid off.
Oh, yeah. Paid off for me, too.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why I'm not above giving them a shout out. Have you ever had a dream that was so visceral that you still remember it to this day?
Actually, yes. It was one that I had back when I was going through a pretty rough patch in my life, struggling with a couple ver addictions devices that kind of got out of hand. This was probably around 10 years ago. It was around the time of when I was first starting to get off of everything. It All I remember was being strapped down to a table and having things drilled into my hand one after the other. But the worst part was that I could actually feel every second of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an intense one. And I think that's a new one. Out of all the people I've asked that question, I don't think I've had anything even close to that.
It was honestly probably one of the, I don't want to say traumatizing per se, but um, one of the more visceral ones where it was just, I remember I bolted out of bed like right after that happened. I bolted up and it was just,
How old were you?
oh dear, 15 or 16.
About 15 or 16? Here,
Hello again.
you can see. You got a curious little one over here.
Cute.
You want to see what we're doing? That's him. Doing an interview for YouTube. You want to say hi? No? Wow, stone face. Gotta love him. This is one of the reasons why I love doing these interviews. Is total random stuff. Had people break bags of ice on the stage. Had a guy with a pickup truck run through a stop sign. Like caught it on film right in the background, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, that'd be insane.
I like unedited.
That's fair.
What do you think life is going to be like in 500 years?
My personal idea of that, I feel like with the state of the world and how things are going, probably not well. Um, with the amount of wars and just um, the problems going on, there's their own share of inequalities on both sides. I don't really care for which side of politics you are on when I say this, but um, people need to start getting comfortable with themselves again and not lash out at others and whatever religion that you have, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. I think people are focusing too much on what makes everyone a individual or what's different about everyone instead of looking at everything as a team. And until that gets fixed, until people have that coming to moment, I don't think that things are going to be lasting too much longer.
If you could give a message to future generations, what would you want to tell them?
No matter if you like someone or not, respect them as a person. Work together as a team, especially if you're in this for looking after your future generations and those that take your spots themselves.
Very nice. So, you've got a son.
Correct.
He's how old?
He'll be 2 come January.
2. What's his name?
Nico.
Nico?
Nico.
Sweet. I haven't heard that name in years. Did you choose that name for any particular reason?
Actually, not to get too far into detail on this side of it, my ex-wife did at the time, so I wasn't able to give the yay or nay on picking the name, but
Still, it's a neat name to have.
it is. I like it.
Is there any place that you haven't been to yet that is on your list? Like before you shuffle off, you've got to see this place in person.
Greece.
Very nice. Any specific areas, or you just want to travel the country?
I'd probably want to say Athens, as stereotypical as it is, or oh boy, I'm drawing a blank on the area, the other area. But yeah, those would be the 2 areas I'd definitely love to visit at some point.
Very cool. If you could pick a job to do for the rest of your life, like you woke up, you had a smile on your face and said, I don't really work, I just have fun. Like, what would that job be?
It would honestly be a toss-up between music and working at the Nightmare Factory, or just acting in general. I mean, God, I love it so much. Being able to just let go temporarily, just for a little bit, you don't have to worry about anyone particularly judging you or anything. You just kind of, you can do your thing, and no one cares.
What's your favorite movie?
Probably Blade Runner. Yeah, easily.
Oh yeah, you have a Nexus tattoo.
Exactly.
Very nice. Oh, we've been joking about an idea. I don't want to spoil it or give anybody else a chance to jump on it, but oh my god, it's going to be so good if we can pull this off.
Oh yeah.
All right. Favorite album?
Oh,
You cannot get that CD out of your truck. What are you listening to?
that is a really hard one. Right now, it would probably be, I believe it's called Divide by The Plot in You. Let me double check. Whoop. That's I. Forgotten, I'm sorry. That is the name of the album. But right now, that's kind of what's been really been going through my head a lot. So,
Nice. Let's see. If you could pick any time and place in history to live, when and where would it be? And why?
time and place in history. I'd say just kind of first thing that popped into my head was during the time period when JFK was still alive.
Nice.
I believe from at least what I've read. Um, while he may not have always been the best person or made the right decisions, he always put people first. And I liked a lot of his economic policies and his stances as a whole. And I've got my own thoughts and ideas off of what later happened in his life, as we're all aware of what happened.
That would be a nifty time, though. Like, everybody was ambitious. They wanted to go to the moon.
They weren't afraid.
Yeah, they seemed optimistic. Like, historically, after World War II, the 50s were considered like a time of prosperity. Jobs were booming and everything. And then, yeah, the kids that grew up off of that going into the 60s, we're going to the moon. Like, just
It was a time when not just that, but
everybody was excited about a lot of stuff. There were a lot of inventions, a lot of new things happening in the world, and people got properly excited.
agreed. Yeah, people enjoyed life.
I think it'd be neat to have like a proper, like one of the old school world fairs again.
Correct.
The way that they used to, like in the early 1900s and stuff like that, where you had people from all over different countries just bringing out innovations, let the entire public see this is what we want to do for the future. Come invest in us. I really think that if it was made more exclusive to everybody, as far as how they could put like actually help out in what direction we wanted to go as a society or a species or a culture, that it'd be a lot more effective for us.
And I think what also was a huge thing back then was um, it was a giant time for like innovation. Always things were changing, always things were moving, going in a big direction. Um, and yeah, like things are always, being innovated all the time. But just imagine on what that would have been like back then, like how big, how major some of those developments had been.
Yeah, and yeah, I've been watching a lot of interviews from people. I watched an interview of a man in his late 80s, and it was filmed in 1923, I believe, 1925, and he was talking about all the changes that he saw from steamboats coming up the river to cars and electric lights and all this stuff, and just being able to see the progress
Correct.
of people.
I will say, as a partial caveat to what I had said earlier, one other person or time frame that I also would have loved to just have at least seen happen is time frame when Tesla was still alive, Nikolai Tesla.
Very
He
much so.
was that man, and I mean this in the best way possible. That man was a madman.
He was a proper mad scientist.
He was, but he also was one of the most innovative people of his time. So I mean, I would have loved to see what some of his actual works were that may never have gotten released, or because I know that he either filed or he created multiple things that just never got released or actually fully developed.
I think it would be interesting to be able to spend a week in a world where Tesla was the mainstream, like his version of electricity, his version of the world, just
Yes.
to kind of see where we would be at.
Agreed.
Because I honestly think we'd be a little bit closer to the Jetsons.
Agreed.
Because just the study of wireless electricity, wireless technologies, being able to pass things, through the air. We do that now with radio signals and stuff like that, but with electricity, we still use transformers, power lines,
Exactly.
and we're still on a grid.
And I'm curious on how much cleaner of a world that would have been.
I think it would definitely shift our perception of how we travel, how we build things, how we operate things. 'Cause you have to
Agreed.
think about it, electricity would be going through the air, to art from house to house and things like that. But I think with 100 years of practice and controlled experiments and
Oh
learning
yeah.
what works, what doesn't work, we could definitely figure something out. I mean, look what we've done with our version of electricity. We have the Hoover Dam
Oh
and all
yeah.
these huge, massive power plant projects that can churn out tons of energy for an entire country. We did that in a span of 100 years. We could have done the same thing on the scale that Tesla did with his technology and learned the same mistakes and fix the same errors.
Yeah.
I think that would have been really interesting.
Imagine a world where they actually managed to work together.
That I really feel this is going to be some movie references for you kids. If you haven't seen any of these, you better look them up. I really feel that we can achieve a Star Trek future. But to get there, we're going to have to go through like the Demolition Man Mad Max era.
Oh
We're
yeah.
going to have to really screw things up to properly learn our lesson of we can't afford to do this anymore and we kind of have no choice but to band together, rebuild, and we're actually thinking of each other rather than a tribal mentality.
Agreed. I think it's gonna have to take a giant worldwide shift, kind of what I
And
was talking about earlier,
yeah,
for that to happen, for everyone to literally come together and go, okay, this isn't fucking working. It's time we step the fuck up and did what we have to do.
yeah. Because I used to have a notion that with on a scale of a country, whenever there's a massive catastrophe or an attack or a civil war breaks out or something like that, no matter what side you're on, if you felt that you were the one being attacked, everybody banded together and it became a thing that the whole country cared about. It might
Correct.
not have been the whole world, but and it was enough to shake people up from apathy and everything else and decide, oh, we need to take action about something. And there I used to have moments where I would believe that we needed something like that on a global scale for everybody to wake up.
Agreed. Agreed.
Like, and you can't change everybody. You can't expect people to progress. There are some people out there that they don't mind the way that their lives are lived. Like technology wise, simplicity wise, it's not a matter of everybody has to keep up together. Like if we're going to go in one direction, we're eventually going towards clean energy, electric cars, space travel. These are natural progressions from where we're at now. So we know that it's coming because we're already investing in it. It's just a matter of finding your happy little niche and learning that this is the new age.
I think the other thing that needs to also change, kind of piggybacking off what you said, is it's not so much being able to provide just clean energy, but being able to be carbon neutral as a whole, being able to, if anything, work to remove what we've put in
Yeah,
instead of, because all we've done is just add. When does it stop? You know, in that regard, there's, I don't know how many of you guys have flown into like California, specifically, like specific parts, but or certain parts of China or anywhere really. There is like a thick smog layer over certain parts of the world when you fly into them, and it's like this is fucking horrid,
it's nasty.
and we're breathing this shit in.
And the crazy thing about it is, it's not that you don't acknowledge it. Because I grew up in Southern California. I remember the haze. We used to turn on the news, and they wouldn't call it fog; they'd call it marine layer. But they and little things like that. But they always had the smog count to let you know how bad the traffic was, how bad the pollution was. Like they acknowledge this is a real thing. But after a while, when you're living in it, you're surrounded by it, it becomes almost like second nature. Like you catch a certain smell and it just affects you to where like you can associate that with memories. Like I
Mm-hmm.
go back to California to visit and there are certain areas in industrial sectors that if I drive through there, I get flashbacks to high school just because I know that smell.
I think the other thing about the whole thing with that is that people have grown accustomed to how their lives are, kind of like we had mentioned earlier, in multiple sections of the conversation. And I think because we've grown so accustomed to how life is as it is, I think people stopped caring. It's not at the forefront of anyone's minds anymore, at least not nearly as much. Like, yeah, efforts are being made, but there's only so much you can do unless everyone works together to make it happen.
Comfortable.
Say again?
Comfortable.
Exactly.
Like it's almost that mentality of if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
I get that. I appreciate all your time, man, and I appreciate you being candid and open about everything.
It's not a problem at all.
And again, folks, Nightmare Factory, NC. I'm gonna have tags in there. You guys are gonna love it when you check it out. Be sure and come see both of us out for the next season, and definitely keep your eyes out for this man's social media pages, which there will be links down below so you guys can spy on him, hire him, see what kind of good stuff he's getting into, and keep your eyes open for all the new updates coming up next year. Take it easy, gang.